Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. In this update, we've got a lot of warm air, in fact, record-breaking temperatures to talk about. But a quick cold blast will head into the Northeast this weekend. But a bigger system, a more concerning system, is starting to take shape, and that could lead to severe weather as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe to the channel as well as hit the like button. It definitely helps out more than you know. So looking at the satellite picture this morning, here's what we got going on. Finally, that energy, the taps have kind of shut off, at least for now, across the West Coast. Much of the middle portions of the country where they are experiencing all that heat, it's just pretty dry, folks. It's hard to wring out precipitation across that region, but we do have some instability over the Ohio Valley that will lead into the Southeast this weekend. But here's your Pacific jet. This is what's driving in all the warmer air off the Pacific, but a concerning system. This is your system well offshore here off the West Coast. That is the system that looks to get its act together, with the jet stream really starting to buckle as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. So looking at the temperatures, wow, this is what unfolded just yesterday. And I think this is just the start of what's to come of these record-breaking temperatures across the southern plains into the Ohio Valley. Look at Michigan, all the way to 64 degrees yesterday. That is crazy for February, and that's just the beginning, folks. I think it's warm now, and I think it actually gets warmer out ahead of the main system going into that Monday and Tuesday. So let's take a look at the precipitation, at least for the next 24 hours. This is your Thursday morning to Friday morning precipitation map. And looking at the graph at the bottom of the corner of the screen here, those areas in green are up to about a ½ inch of rainfall. Once you get into the blue, that's upwards to almost an inch of rainfall through Kentucky. You start getting into the purples. Now we're talking possibly about a 1.5 inches, but overall nothing big, but anywhere from a ½ inch to 1.5 inches across this region over the next 24 hours. But there's your quick colder shot of air, and it's very going to be quick coming into the Northeast for this weekend. Those temperatures are going to be dropping pretty rapidly, and you're going to be waking up with some pretty colder temperatures as we head into Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to be pretty progressive. I mean, this system's going to be pretty quick moving. You're likely going to be getting some snow across those areas into upstate New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire, especially in the Maine, likely 1 to 3 inches, but it's so progressive. It's going to be offshore as we get into Friday night and into a Saturday morning time frame. But look at the middle of the country, folks. As the warm air kind of takes over, you're leading to a fairly nice weekend and across a good part of the country. But we do have colder air, right? It's still February and it's technically still winter, right? So it's all that colder air has just been bottled up there in Canada and up there in Alaska, and it's getting cold again up there in Alaska. And in fact, western portions of Canada is starting to, this will start to be on the move, but out ahead of this very warm air mass going into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So, but here's the system that we're going to start to be concerned about out here off the West Coast as this low just continues to build up in strength. We're watching this trough also come down from Alaska, from the Aleutian Islands here. This is the system, as these will be moving across, that they'll be start to kind of phase together once we get into the middle part of the country. That is going to set the stage for more of a bowling ball type trough setup, and unfortunately could lead to severe storms as well as even possible tornadoes going into your Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's break this thing down for you. Heading into Monday, this is where things start to really get going, right? So you got the southern piece here, down here off the West Coast. This is an atmospheric river event, but it's going to be bringing more rain showers into California, especially those areas into Southern California. But it's also going to drag down some colder air from Canada there into the Pacific Northwest. That's going to start impacting those areas into into the west coast. And look at that system. This dynamic low goes right over even Phoenix. You're going to start getting in some rain with this deal heading into Monday night into Tuesday. Further north, you're in the colder side into Utah. They're in the Salt Lake City. Hey, it's not out of the question. You could be getting some thunder snow going into that Monday night. So if you live in Salt Lake City, let me know if you do in fact get some thunder snow heading into Monday and Tuesday with this very dynamic system moving in, because this jet stream is going to be screaming, folks. This is what the setup looks like heading into Monday. This is going to be a very fast, progressive moving system. So very jet stream fueled system as the southern branch dips, and we'll watch the northern branch start to come down from the Pacific Northwest, and the leading out ahead of it, there's your really warm surge. I mean, these temperatures are crazy. 20, 25, if not 30 degrees above average for February. A lot of records are going to be broken for Monday and Tuesday, but there's the colder air, the colder air that will be building coming out of Canada heading into the west coast. And look at some of these temperatures, right? Here's your projected record high temperatures for Monday, February 26th. Yeah, all the way in the 90s. In fact, we could see possibly our first 100 degree for the United States heading into Monday. That's how strong this system could be, with those 90s surging from the deep south to Texas into the 80s, pulling those 80s and back into Oklahoma. Oklahoma City hit 83 degrees yesterday. You might even top that going into Monday. But there's the surge further north into the 70s, Missouri mid 70s, right? You got the 70s pulling all the way north into Illinois, and it just gets even worse on Tuesday, right? So you got cold air lurking. We're down to the teens for highs heading into Montana, but out ahead of it, there's your warm sector. That's the concern as this dynamic system comes across, as the jet stream will be ripping across. It's tapping into this warm sector, and that warm sector goes well north for this time of year. Illinois, mid 70s. That's insane. I mean, you're almost 60 degrees in northern Wisconsin, right? I know if you live there, that's well crazy above average, 30 degrees above average. That's why so many records, in fact, maybe 30 records could potentially break, and it's likely going to be even higher, as we get closer to that, to Tuesday. But here's the setup, right? So we're going to be watching this dynamic system coming in off the west coast. We'll be ringing more showers for California. It's finally going to spread the love in there. Phoenix, they're desperate for rain out there, and they're going to be getting it Monday and Tuesday. But further north, it's going to be snow, and especially into the Salt Lake City region, it's likely to be snowing, and it's likely going to be thunder snowing possibly across that region. And it's going to be snowing again back into Wyoming, getting into the Dakotas out ahead of that main low-level jet. And this is the concern, because once we head into Tuesday afternoon, you got the southern branch streaking out ahead of it, and then you got that colder side coming in. So you got a 1-2 punch. You got a Tuesday setup, as well as even a more dynamic system going into your Wednesday. But the leading edge is right here across the middle part of the country, starting off in Illinois, through Missouri, portions of Oklahoma, portions of Texas there, back into Arkansas, and heading into western portions of Tennessee ahead of the warm sector. So this is the cold front, right? I put the wind chill so you can see this sharp gradient that we're talking about with these temperatures, with more or less the heat index further south, and you've got more the wind chill further north, and that's the drop of going from 55 to 7, right? That's going to be a sharp temperature gradient, what these overall feels like. And with out ahead into the warm sector, we've got a lot of moisture, and this is the concern with that southwest winds. Is going to be pulling all that moisture in, that warm moisture heading into Arkansas, into Missouri, back into Illinois, into western Tennessee, western Kentucky, southern portions of Indiana. And right now, this is a day 6, folks. We actually talked about this yesterday, and the Storm Prediction Center pulled the trigger on it this morning, highlighting that slight risk for a day 6 as well as day 7 first time this year, and these never lead to good scenarios once we get closer in. But right now, they kind of zoomed in and put the more favored areas likely where you're going to be seeing those severe storms out ahead of that low-level jet, back into Chicago, into Springfield, into St. Louis, into the Kansas City region, and as well as into Springfield, Missouri, back into the Tulsa region, as well as into Little Rock, heading in, likely going to be Tuesday night and overnight setup Wednesday morning, because once we head into Wednesday, that's even a more dynamic system as the bowling ball jet really starts to dip, and out ahead of it, you got a strong jet streak of 115 knots. That's insane. These tornadoes, if they do come to fruition, will be racing at 50, 60 miles an hour. And that's just a dangerous setup that could unfold going into your Wednesday, could lead to Wednesday night. So right now, this is the Storm Prediction Center highlighted areas, were the most favored areas. And of course, we'll be fine tuning this as we get closer. But right now, it looks to be central and southern Illinois into Indiana, as well as southwestern portions of Ohio, but especially there in Kentucky, especially there into Tennessee. It's favoring this area as the most prone sector of seeing the bullseye as of right now. And further south into Arkansas, getting into Alabama here, as well as into the Birmingham region, heading into Wednesday night. And look at the moisture surge, and even more pronounced. So that's why I think right now, I mean, it's, you don't want to fine tune too much because literally we're 7 days out, but this looks to be the more favored area right now. Northern Mississippi, western portions of Tennessee, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and southwestern portions of Ohio. That seems to be the favored area. But further south, tailing, you could lead to more of a conditional risk for those severe storms. So looking at the latest update, this is your GFS guidance coming in. So like I mentioned, this is going to be a very fast moving dynamic system as that southern branch of the jet stream and the more consecutive bowling ball trough digs in on Wednesday. Out ahead of it, look at the southern tail. So right, this is why the Storm Prediction Center didn't actually feed it all the way in Texas. It's not zero, it's more of a conditional risk further south, because the further south you get on the tail of that jet, you got a strong capping inversion across that region. So it's going to be very, very difficult to break that capping inversion, but it's not like it's zero, especially right now, this far out. So, but we do have a cold side of this, and like I mentioned, going through going through Utah, headed into the Rockies there, but that'll swing into western Nebraska, into the Dakotas, with likely some snow, going into that Tuesday and Wednesday. And as we head into Wednesday, there's the system coming across. So it's going to be very fast moving. So I'm not expecting a very dynamic snow event with this system, because it's going to be so fast moving, but a good swath of snow. We likely will be seeing more snow in the portions of Minneapolis, heading into those areas into Iowa as well. And that could lead into portions of Wisconsin. But the southern branch, that's the more concerning. That's where the severe storms are likely going to unfold. And Wednesday night could take a turn for the worse and look pretty nasty. So we'll be definitely fine tuning this. So nothing to be greatly concerned right now, but right now it's a 6-7 day out. So we got a lot of time to fine tune this. And this is what the learning model has. And as of right now, it could go all the way south into portions of Texas, but the main area is across Arkansas into Missouri, as well as into Illinois, but it could lead all the way north. I mean, those temperatures go well north, all the way to Wisconsin and to Michigan. So none of these areas this far out are not zero with this system moving in, but this is the more favored area the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted for Tuesday. And then going into Wednesday, look what the learning model has versus what the Storm Prediction Center has. Remember, they can't go enhanced until they go 5 days out, right? So even it's very rare to go slight risk 6-7 days out. That is a system that you definitely have to be concerned about, because day 7, slight risk never really end well. They typically end with a pretty good significant severe weather event. But overall, Here's what we're looking at, the breakdown for the next 7 days. So look, this is your precipitation map. Notice the middle part of the country where you're basically going to have most of the warm air for a good part of the next 7 days. It's hard to erode that strong capping inversion, so it's going to be very difficult to wring out any precipitation across the middle of the country. That's where they're going to be in the warm sector. Where the system will be coming in, you'll be bringing more rain showers for California, more rain for Washington and Oregon, as well as spread the love back in the Intermountain West. That'll bring snow showers for them, and even showers back into the Phoenix region, even portions of Las Vegas. There's the dry slot, but once we head into Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, these are the favorite areas, would likely lead. And this is normally a little bit further south this time of year. You typically look for like Dixie Alley, and it's not like they're not going to get anything, but it's mainly a jet stream induced and more climatologically further north than what you would typically see this time of year. So with this jet stream coming off, it's going to be favoring those areas further north into Kentucky, into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and as well as into Tennessee, with this particular severe weather setup heading into Tuesday and Wednesday. But there's the cold shot that will be coming in. So these are your potential temperatures heading into Thursday. So this would be next Thursday. So it's another quick shot of colder air. This would be actually leap day. So we get an extra day of winter technically, because this is the last official day of what they call meteorologically winter. This will be the last day to put towards the winter records. And then we, of course, start meteorologically spring going into Friday, and that will start the spring records for the next 3 months. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update where I protect you before and after the storm.